What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. In today's episode, I want to go over this SX500 and the mods I just installed on it. If you're new to this channel, you probably haven't seen this bike yet, but just to kind of a recap, this is an SX500 from Razor. It's got the Electro Co Extreme Kit, the EC4P, 76 volt battery, noisy cricket controller. I've done some content on that before. Check out the library if you want to know more about that. Today's episode is going to be focused on the forks, the suspension, and the brakes. So these forks are hydraulic, 630 millimeter forks, bolt-on forks. We're gonna go over how to bolt them up here later on in the video. We'll go over that real quick, super easy. Don't even really need instructions, just one watch of the video, you got it down. And we'll also go over the things that this fork kit comes with so that you can just bolt it in. Nothing needed from the hardware store, just a couple basic tools, and you got yourself a legit pit bike hydraulic front end. And coupled with the front end, to make this whole thing work, to keep the geometry right, to keep the riding experience, fun and manageable, is the swing arm extensions. These are a 2 to 3 inch stretch depending on where you put your axle in the slot. The extended swing arm adds a tremendous amount of stability, especially when you couple it with the 12-inch front wheel that this comes with. Let's take the camera off the tripod. We'll go over what comes in the kit. So if you have any questions, hopefully that gets answered. Now, I mentioned the swing arm extensions a little bit earlier, and I did a video on the install on how to do it in my last video. I'll leave a link here in case you guys want to know how to do it. It's just 2 bolts right here into the side of the swing arm, and there's a third one on the back here. It took me 20 minutes literally to put in the swing arm extension for both sides, and I get basically between 2 and 3 inches of extension depending on where I put my axle in this slot with my chain tension. Just looking at this front end real quick, one of the main differences between this front end and the prior version of these forks is this is a 630 millimeter fork, so from the bottom to the top is 630 millimeters. The last iteration was 600 millimeters. This kit also comes with the guards. It comes with the axle. It comes with the spacer. Has a 180 millimeter disc. Comes with the front wheel and tire. And then coupled with that wheel and tire, it's already got that bearings and the axle stay on the inside between the bearings. With the kit, it also comes with the bars, the triple trees, and the bar risers. Now also with this kit, it comes with the plastics. So it comes with this number plate, and it also comes with the front fender, which I think the front fender on this kit looks way better than the Razor front fender. And you'll notice here too, with the brakes, they bolt right up. This is a 4-piston brake from Zoom. You can buy these on the Electro Co website, but they bolt right up. And if you look here, look how nice and tidy this is. It keeps the brake line away from your tire. No need for a zip tie. It looks professional, it's clean. A lot of the guys are using zip ties, myself included, until I had this option. But yeah, I'm gonna use that from now on. I installed the triple trees first, and then I slide the tubes in. There's a couple different ways to do it. That's just the way that I do it. Let's get the camera off the tripod. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna show you how to do it. One thing to mention, when you take your forks off, you're gonna have these races in here. You don't need these with the Electro Company forks. This grommet fits right here in that hole. Nice and flush. You got a second grommet. This part right here is gonna take the place of that race I just showed you. So that guy's gonna slide in there, fits in there perfectly. Comes in here, right in the hole, right between the bearings. Your bottom clamp. Same thing with this. It's gonna slide right up here. Right in the bearing. There it is. Got a nut with a nylon lock washer on it. Thread that sucker on. Just kind of keep it loose at first, because you're gonna need to adjust this when you get the forks in. And now they got the clamps kind of where I want them. I'm gonna take this fork tube. This is the one with the brake bracket on it. It's the only one on the left side. I'm gonna take this fork tube, I'm gonna run it up through this clamp. If you look here, it's got these lines on the top of this fork tube. That's so you can get adjustment between left and right, just perfect. So I kept those loose. Slide this dude up. I'm gonna just keep it in there kind of loose so I can adjust it once I slide the axle in. So, just boom, boom. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. All right guys, so we got the forks in, got the clamps on. Make sure you get your wires ran the way that you want them run so that they can go to your bars. With the ENC kit, these forks, these clamps, this tire and wheel and brake come with it. It also comes with the spacers and the axle. There's one thing worth mentioning here. When you get your kit, you're gonna get 2 of these spacers for your axle. Make sure that your spacer that's a little bit longer goes on your brake caliper side so that you have room for your disc to spin in between this bottom fork tube. If you get your spacers switched, your bolts on your disc are gonna run into your lower fork tube. Or if you could mitigate this too by having a lower profile screw, but just keep in mind, keep the longer spacer on the side of the brake. Now that I got my wheel on, I got everything spaced out the way I want it. The axle's running through, there's no binding or nothing like that. I can go ahead and tighten these forks up. I can tighten up this treble clamp bolt. Here we go. I really wish you guys could feel this bike and the way that it handles. With that 12-inch front wheel on the front, it makes a huge difference on being able to get through these rocks and this rougher terrain. And it gives the bike more clearance. Coupled the front wheel with the extension in the rear is what gives the bike almost the ideal stance for a real dirt bike as far as the geometry goes. So I got the rear stretched out about 2.5 inches, and I got the front raised up. It's a 600, like I said, the 630 millimeter fork, and the swing arm extension in the rear with this extreme kit does not hinder your ability to do a wheelie at all. This kit is a monster. It'll wheelie all day. You probably put a 10-inch stretch on this kit and it'll still pull wheelies. This is about as legit of a mini pit bike as it gets without actually having a real dirt bike. And this thing goes 50 miles an hour. Yeah, enough said. Through these rocks here, it's pretty rough terrain. Let's listen for any clanks and clunks. So far, I haven't heard a single noise from the forks. You know, the ones that we're familiar with on these razors, the spring front ends. A lot of times they like to cling and clack. All I gotta do in order to maneuver this bike, I don't even have to move the bars. All I gotta do is kind of move my hips, and this thing just moves with it. It's very intuitive, stable, upright, balanced. I'm digging it.